Welcome to another edition of AvranceCorp Presents. I'm your host, Kenai Andrews. Uh, we're going to take you out of your comfort zone on this episode, where usually we talk to professionals in the Greater Toronto Area in the province of Ontario. But we are thrilled today to have Realtor David Wiebe join us, and he joins us from British Columbia. Let's bring him in without any further ado. David, thank you so much for your time today. You know, it's a snow day here in Toronto. If I were to look outside, pull the drapes open, there's a ton of snow, ice pellets, freezing rain, and that's pretty much the prognosis for today. Can you enlighten us for our viewers who are here in Ontario? What is the weather like over there right now?
Thanks for having me. I actually think you took winter from us this year, so it's not so bad out here today. Um, it did actually snow a little bit this morning, but nothing is sticking, and that is in Squamish. In Whistler, it's a little bit different. There's some snow there, but it's not been a really cold or snowy winter, but I think it's the opposite for you.
It certainly is. And, just another reminder that, Canada is a very big country from sea to sea, from west to east. So, again, thank you so much for coming on, David. Let's get right into it here. And again, for folks who may not be familiar with Squamish or the Whistler area in BC, can you give us a little bit of a quick layout of Squamish?
Sure. So Squamish is located uh, about 40 minutes north of Vancouver, or North Vancouver, and about the same distance south of Whistler. So we're just smack dab in a perfect little location. It's a lot of outdoor sports here. World class, a lot of like world class sports, world class climbing, mountain biking, kiteboarding. There's a lot of outdoor stuff to do in Squamish.
I understand you're a pretty good skier yourself.
Oh, I don't know if I would say that. Not for the standards here. I think I'm just okay. In fact, my 14-year-old son just got better than me this year, which is a little bit. It's like passing the torch. It's bittersweet.
All right, that's awesome. Okay, so obviously, we were just talking before the show too. Squamish is it's a nice, nicely located area where you kind of get the best of both worlds. It's close enough to Vancouver. If you need a bit of the city life, and then also you get the rural and the mountains and everything like that as well.
It's true. Yeah, I really love Squamish. So I moved to Squamish. I'm from Alberta, but I came out to BC in the early 2000s, and then I went to Whistler in 2004. I worked at a bank at the time, and they offered me a transfer to Whistler. And I loved Whistler. Whistler was a great place to live. Met my wife in 2009, got married, or sorry, we met in 2000 and probably 2004, 2005, but we got married in 2009, moved to Squamish in 2010. It was just a little bit more affordable than Whistler. And yeah, been here ever since.
Right, and the rest is history. Okay,
Yeah.
now let's get into what's going on there real estate wise. Obviously, generally speaking, it was a challenging year for many of us in the real estate industry, pretty much across all components. What did you see in Squamish there, or in that region in 2025?
So it was a pretty slow year if we're looking at averages. So looking at 2025 compared to different years. It wasn't a great year for real estate, but it still, things in general still went up in
Okay.
Squamish in 2025. So that is different than the markets around us. So Whistler can't say the same, and Vancouver can't say the same. Those are the markets that I watch. But well, Squamish obviously the closest. So the market was okay in Squamish, and it bucked the trend of the markets around us. Um, and I think it's just because Squamish is slightly insulated right now. The demand for living in Squamish is reasonably high. Squamish is growing. Um, so it's an okay year.
All right. And in terms of, buyers and sellers, what was your typical, client coming to you for? Were they looking to buy or sell?
Typical client, I would say we could say buyers have actually helped a decent amount of first-time buyers in the last couple of years, which has been interesting. It's harder for them to get into the market these days, for sure. Um, I think there's a lot of people trying to upsize, so selling a townhome to buy a detached home. I'm dealing with a lot of those, and people coming from Vancouver, moving from Vancouver.
Okay. Okay. So, like, these are families moving from Vancouver typically?
Yeah, I would say young families is mostly what I see.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes like young couples, no kids, coming here to they want to buy something, establish themselves, start a family.
Okay. All right. And, we just saw, actually, I'm not sure, but at least for the last month or so, we saw the Bank of Canada kind of pause on the overnight rate there. I think it's still at 2.25%, if I'm not mistaken. What are your thoughts on that? Do you feel that the Bank of Canada needs to lower the rates to spur action, or should they stay the course?
Do they need to lower the rates to spur action? It would help. It would help, but rates are already pretty low, and like they're low. If they did lower them, I do think that would help kickstart things. What I'm sensing right now in Squamish is buyers are hesitant. So I look at stats a lot. I look through numbers. Squamish it had an okay 2025. The fall, so October and early November in Squamish was quite strong for detached homes, and then it got quieter in December, which is pretty normal. January was eerily quiet. So when I looked at the numbers, it was the slowest January for sales in the last decade. Um, but it's seeming like things are starting to come around or starting to pick up a little bit, but it also looks like buyers are hesitant. They're just waiting. They're waiting for something. And if something's going to sell that's either exactly what they want, that has come on, or it's a good enough deal that it makes them jump right now. But otherwise, buyers are sitting back. I don't know what it's going to take to make them start buying. Really, it's going to take the market to turn around, but I don't know what it's going to take for that market to get kickstarted. It could be a rate drop. Is that going to happen? I have no idea.
Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah. I think you're on there. I think the Bank of Canada has pretty much washed their hands. I think you're just gonna let that rate sit there because I don't think they can do much more. Even they put it to zero, there's still so many other factors affecting the decisions for this buyer's market that we are seeing pretty much all across of Canada. Food prices, for example, the food inflation I just saw went up 7.3% in January. I don't know how you guys eat in Squamish, but here in Toronto, we like to eat a lot. And, my food is going up 7%, and my car insurance and my house insurance is going up whatever percent, that, and I don't know if I'm going to be employed at the end of the year. You know, I may lay off on this $1.5 million Windsor Palace getaway that I see on your website here. Um, what do you think?
Um, what do I think? Like, what do yeah, I think that, well, okay. I think that what you're speaking of is happening in a lot of markets in Canada, but not necessarily quite the same in Squamish.
Okay.
So, and yeah, I'm not sure if I touched on it, but Squamish just feels like it's slightly insulated for the slow market. In general, the market went up last year. It's still a buyer's market overall, I would say right now, but it's not as it doesn't feel as dire in Squamish. It
Okay.
definitely feels slower in Whistler, and I'm hearing Vancouver is pretty slow as well. But Squamish is it seems like we're getting close to getting busy again, um, but not quite
Okay.
there.
All right. Well, this is good. Positive news. This is great. Okay. Uh, all right. This is good. Maybe you get a little applause here. I mean, been
Hey,
hearing
there
all
we
this
go.
negative stuff here from a lot of people, at least here in Ontario, saying how things are down and stuff. But it sounds to me also, David, and correct me if I'm wrong, that also Squamish has this a certain reputation, a certain respect there. And part of it is that you have this access to the wonderful skiing and nature that you really can't put a price on. That kind of gives some of that insulation, and so things are a little different there.
Totally. It's just it's demand to be here. So prices are just a product of supply and demand, and the demand is definitely to be in Squamish. It's not a huge place. I believe our population is around 30,000 people right now, um, but I mean, it's up a lot from I think it was 5 7 years ago that it was closer to 20,000. Um, so the population is definitely growing, uh, and people they just want to be here. So since COVID changed things a lot for Squamish, just because we're 40 minutes outside of Vancouver, um, and after COVID, people could work wherever they wanted and or could work from home, and I mean that they could live where they actually wanted to instead of where they had to, and people come to Squamish for the lifestyle. We're close enough to Vancouver that it's convenient. So if you need to go in the office 1 2 days a week, most people actually commute. I'd say most like every day to Vancouver, but a lot of people don't. And if you don't have to, you can enjoy the outdoor lifestyle here and all the. It's just a good place to live. And being so close to Whistler is a huge bonus as well.
All right. Okay, now let's take a look at some of these prices here. And we're going to your website here, davidwiebe.ca, and checking out the featured property here. It's even has an open house here, 1020 Windsor Place, with a 1.579 million price tag for a 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom, 1681 square foot uh, place. Can you walk us through? We talked a little bit about before the show. Can you walk us through the pricing here? What was it 5 years ago before around COVID, um, and so on?
Sure. So I know these prices pretty well on the street. So I'd say that this particular house in 2000 and let's say 15, in that neighborhood of time, so about a decade ago, was probably around 5 to 600,000 dollars.
Okay.
And then as time moved on, I mean, it's hard to pinpoint exactly what it was worth at what time, but pre-COVID, around then, I think it was more like $1 million. And then after COVID, it was, yeah, it was, I'd say the very peak, the value of this house is probably closer to like 1.65, 1.7 million. That might be a little bit on the high end, and then the market has tapered off a little bit over the last few years, and now this is it's a pretty attractive price. We're getting a pretty good amount of interest on this house. We just listed it about a week and a half ago.
Okay. All right. And in terms of, there's some other external factors that I think even Squamish might have to respect in terms of, these American tariffs that are hammering a lot of us here across Canada. What do you think about these tariffs? Do you think that the Prime Minister Mark Carney can get this thing straightened out, particularly when we have those negotiations, those Kuzma free trade negotiations coming up later on in the year?
I have no idea. It's definitely hurting us. It's definitely hurting us. No, no ifs, ands, or buts. But I don't know. I don't know how that's going to play out. It, yeah. Hopefully, it gets better than it is.
Yeah, I mean, no question. I mean, because right now we're enjoying the free trade basically. Parts and goods and go across to the United States duty free currently under that agreement. But if that agreement goes away and we have to pay these tariffs here, obviously that's going to make things more expensive, including building homes, even if it's in Squamish.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's going to be probably a lot of negative effects for that. Economy will get worse, and simply people will start pulling back on buying homes, which will just kind of settle the whole market down. It'll drop prices, really, is what it'll do.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, David, we're almost out of time here. I mean, the time is it just goes quickly here. I feel like I'm on one of these mountains here, going down the slopes here. uh, and now that I think about it, Canada just got their third gold medal. I think it was yesterday. Um, our ski team. There was a time, and I think you're around my age, David, where we were called the Crazy Canucks for a reason, right? I really haven't heard Canada making noise in terms of the skiing. Like we had Steve Podborski and Ken Reed and Lori Graham and am I missing something or what's going on there?
I don't know. I actually thought we did okay, and it's funny. A few of the people in the Olympics are they. I know them. I've known them. I've watched them grow up
Yeah,
in Whistler. So it's
yeah, where they practiced.
yeah, it's interesting. What's that?
Isn't that where they practiced in Whistler, pretty much?
Totally. But I mean, like some of the skiers, like for Canada and even other countries, just they've grown up here. Um, but I don't know. We're doing okay. I mean, I just watched the hockey game this morning, and we just beat Czechia, so that was
Overtime.
exciting. Overtime victory.
Very good. Yeah, yeah. It was a nail biter though.
It
But yes,
was.
but
It
Canada
was.
came,
That was
came in.
terrifying.
We all were. We all were. We're hoping for another like golden goal moment, like that Sidney Crosby
Yeah.
moment way back in the day.
Yeah. Well, hopefully he's okay. He had to leave the game.
Oh man. Okay, I didn't see that. Okay, well, hopefully he can come back for the next one. But yeah, I mean, Canada has 3 gold, 4 silver, and 5 bronze, if I'm not if I remember correctly. But I just saw like the
Mm.
Italians. They're really doing well in the skiing. Like they're really cleaning up there.
Yeah, maybe I missed some of that. I know I saw the big air. I know the Italian got was it third? She did well, but was it big air skiing? But we took a gold in that one.
Okay.
Isn't that Megan something
Yeah.
oldie? Megan something? I don't know, but she did well. She got gold.
Okay. Okay. No, I
So
probably missed something. I mean, I just remember like Horse Baloo and all those guys, ski jumping greats. They were just so crazy. Like, that's why they were called the Crazy Canucks by everybody. The whole world loved them, for the way that they just went gung ho on into the skiing. But all right, well, I'm glad to hear that at least we're doing well all around at the Olympics. Is there anything else, David, that you would like the readers to know about Squamish, or actually tell them where they can contact you should they, want to use your services?
sure, yeah. For if anyone's interested about anything to do with Squamish and Whistler are my main markets, and so Squamish, Whistler, Pemberton. You can check out my website davidwiebe.ca, and my phone number or email are on there. And I'd love to help anyone out or answer questions, do virtual tours, whatever you're looking for.
All right. David Wiebe, real estate advisor, realtor at Stillhaven Real Estate Services. Thank you so much for coming on AvranceCorp Presents. Maybe we'll can get you back on later in the year, and you can give us your thoughts on how the year went.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you so much. That's David Wiebe. There he goes. David Wiebe, realtor at Stillhaven Services. And this will wrap up this edition of AvranceCorp Presents. I want to thank David for coming on and really sharing the information about the Squamish area. I didn't realize that it was so, that it really, is a special place, special region because of its proximity, to the Vancouver area. And the amount of nature and skiing that is available for its residents has really helped keep, the property values relatively stable, as he said. 1.579 million for that property on his website there, and he said he's getting good interest on it. Now you put that same property in Toronto. I'm not sure you're going to get that same kind of interest, quite frankly. So very, very interesting to hear. All right, this will do it for this edition of AvranceCorp Presents. I'm Kenai Andrews. We do this every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We hope to see you back here next Wednesday. Until then, take care.